All right, here we go. Welcome back. It's the Realtor Coach, Stephen Young, again, another installment of our weekly sessions here. And this week we're talking about Facebook, very specifically lead generation, how to bring leads to your Facebook page, but more specifically your Facebook ads, and how you convert them into what we ultimately want for everybody is more clients, more commission, of course. So Facebook is your secret tool to real estate success. Is Facebook a secret? Now, most people listening are probably going to chuckle at that, but surprisingly enough, it's not a secret. Here's their user base since 2008. They're now up to 1.3 billion users around the world who know about it. The question is, do you? Of course, I'm being facetious. I'm sure you know about Facebook, but do you use Facebook? That's a big question. That's really what we're here for, about the training on how to use it and how to implement it into the real estate business. So obviously Facebook, there's no secret to Facebook. The secret to success to use it comes from knowing how to use it. And most people, sadly, don't know how to use it properly for business and for real estate specifically on generating both seller, buyer, and tenant and landlord contacts. So we're going to cover 5 steps on maximizing your Facebook account to start pushing inbound advertising to your email on a daily basis. No more cold calling, just lead conversion. It's really the key to what we coach at Young Realty and the Realtor Coach. We don't want you actively pursuing this sort of outbound marketing. We don't want you chasing clients. We don't want you begging clients. We don't want you doing open houses, no door knocking, no cold calling. All we want you doing is converting the leads that are coming in, waving a flag saying, please help me. And they're looking for something very specific. So this is essentially what we're trying to build and show for everybody. It's what we call the lead funnel. This is sort of as basic as we possibly get it. Essentially, you're going to create ads, and then from those ads, those people are going to be pushed to a specific page, what we call a landing page. From that landing page is going to convert them to get their information. And when you get that information, you then can distribute it to yourself, team members, assistants, whoever you want, or even systems will show you in place whereby you convert those landing leads into eventually clients. So your ads, today we're going to be focusing on Facebook, but there's no shortage of places you can put these ads. There's Craigslist, of course, Kijiji, AdWords, which is Google AdWords, on your website, obviously should be on your website, the print material, and of course direct mail. There's a million other different places you can put these, but these are the key ones. Once you create the ad, you essentially you're forcing them to get to one specific landing page. Those landing pages can be built in again, there's an infinite source of ways you could do it, but I use lead pages. But you could also use success websites, prime seller leads, agent locator. They all apply to essentially creating a very simplistic looking landing page. Is basically all you need. From the landing page, you're going to convert them using a CRM program. I personally use Infusionsoft. It's not for everybody. It's quite expensive. It's not the easiest thing to use. But once it's up and running, it essentially is a full staff of people without you having to manage or pay, and it's just incredible software. If you're not quite there yet, if you don't have literally tens of thousands of people trying to manage leads each month, then you could use something like MailChimp. Aweber is more of it's a larger system than Infusionsoft. It's really robust, significantly expensive, sort of on the lines of Salesforce. But for this purpose, you would really just need something like a MailChimp or a top producer. You could possibly manage it in your Gmail account or email account, but it gets very cumbersome, as you'll see very shortly, as it generates a significant amount of leads. So again, we're just talking with Facebook today. Everything else we will cover eventually, but today we're really just going to scratch the surface of creating Facebook ads. So a few weeks ago, I ran a test ad just to give everybody some idea of how to run an ad, what they look at. I want to show everybody the results that I was getting and how easy it is to do. This literally just started at the beginning of May, so a couple weeks ago. But the key to any ad, whether it's on Facebook, Craigslist, Kijiji, AdWords, print, direct mail, whether you're doing telemarketing, it doesn't matter. If it's not a universal offering, you're wasting your time and your money. You just are. If you're trying to sell one specific house at one specific price, it's not worth it. If you're trying to sell something very specifically to just a seller or just a buyer or just a landlord or just a tenant, you're really segmenting the marketplace and you're not maximizing what you need to get out of this. So when it comes to this ad, this is specifically targeted to sellers because what we're trying to get is more listings. So this is why we're just segmenting the market to track just condo owners in just Toronto. Okay. So a few things about the offer. Anyone and everyone is interested in this who owns a condo. If you don't own a condo, you wouldn't even look at the ad because you don't really care what your condo is worth if you're renting it. And if you're looking to buy, well, you don't own a condo, so you don't know what it's worth anyways. There are specific ads for buyers, right? How to, condo prices when you're buying. If you're looking for tenants, it's how to convert, how to stop paying rent and get into buying. So there's different ads you could run. Today, we're very specifically targeting sellers. So when it comes to universal offering, you don't want to sell anything in the ad. It's very key. If it looks as though you're trying to sell them something, they're not going to click on the ad. So you cannot sell them anything. It's free information. The difficulty in getting it is next to zero. So there can't be several hurdles or several things or steps in place whereby you have to get the information. For example, if you put a specific number, like call me directly and speak to me, realtor extraordinaire, before I even give you anything, well, that's a barrier and it's not going to happen. So this has to be a comprehensive report, free of value, literally just one step, click, and you get the information. That's what they want. That's what the target audience wants. And I was talking to some agents recently, and I was trying to educate them on how to go about this. Basically, look at it from yourself. Okay, if you're looking at anything other than real estate, if you're looking to buy a car, if you're going to the Gap, or if you're going to the mall to buy something, what's the first thing somebody says? Oh, do you need any help? No, the first thing out of your mouth is usually no. Okay, you don't want to be sold something. You don't want to be talking to somebody. You don't want that difficulty. So what you're going to do is you're going to say no instantaneously. And your clients, when it comes to real estate, there's no difference. Okay, so you really have to take yourself out of the equation. And how do you do that? You basically create a universal offering, something that anybody wants, and it's very easy to get. So also about the test ad, we targeted specifically to people who own condos in downtown Toronto. So the ads don't have to speak to anyone specifically. Sorry, it was when you're calling and you're not speaking to anybody. And the URL is benefit rich. Okay, so when it says Toronto condo price, it's benefit rich. So it talks about the city that you're looking for, condominiums, and the price. So there's three key things that are driven by the URL. So you see at the very bottom where it says torontocondoprice.com. So if you're trying to sell to sellers and your URL is like realestatebuyersbeware.com, it's not going to attract the way it needs to be attracted. So when you're building these landing pages, which is really a different topic for a different day, but when you're building the landing pages and you're going to be pointing them to a URL, that URL needs to match who the target audience is. So in this case, we're looking for people who own condos in Toronto and they're looking for the price of that condo. I've never met a seller in 10 years of selling real estate who didn't want to know the price of their property. Whether they're looking to sell, refinance, downsize, upsize, who knows? They always want to know what the value of the property is. That's why this ad is very key. So here were the test results. So you see each one of these is a lead that comes into my email instantaneously without me having any interaction. I've set up the system once. It took me not very long to set up, as I'll show you. And then once it gets set up, these are leads that are coming in. Now, partial leads are leads that are missing something of everything that I'm asking. When it gets into user registration or full registration, that's where they've given me absolutely everything we're asking for. It's rare to get a user registration, but if you do get a user registration, it's usually someone who's very, very serious. So you can see here, most of these are partial leads. It's because it's their name, their address, their email and or phone number, but they haven't put in more information. The questions are like, when are you selling? Do you need to sell now? Is this a distress sale? So if they've answered all those questions, then we get a full registration. Those are generally the first people you contact when you get these leads coming in every single day. And here are the results. So in a 2-week runtime, we had 40 seller leads. Of those 40 seller leads, we had 3 listing appointments, and we put 2 buyers under contract. These were buyers who looked at the ad, are interested in selling, but they also want to buy a property as well. So they're looking to upsize or downsize. So the potential commission here in a 2-week run is $60,000. The cost, it should have been $150, not $15. It actually wasn't quite that much, but that's a typo there. And discovering how to generate more leads than I can handle on my own for next to nothing, priceless, right? If you go back to MasterCard commercials. So, the potential commission on a 2-week run of 60,000, spending 150 bucks, that's absolutely priceless if you can figure out this and dial it in. And again, this is just one aspect of what we're going to be coaching. It's just Facebook. It does, once you start including like Craigslist and Kijiji and AdWords and your website, and you have direct mail pieces and newsletters and everything all on top of each other, you get to understand how many leads you can actually generate every single day. And again, this is just the selling side. It has nothing to do with the buyers yet. It has nothing to do with renting, nothing to do with investing, nothing like that. This is just one source of revenue from one lead generation tool. So the big question is, how did I do it, right? So how do I get that many leads and that many conversions from just a small, simple little ad on Facebook? It's $1 million question. So these are the 5 steps we're going to cover today. So one, finding your market. It's probably what most people fault on, is finding the correct marketplace. We've spoken to many people whereby they want to sell multi-million-dollar properties, whether it's homes or condos, it doesn't matter. And when you actually do the market research and finding your marketplace that you want to work on, we find out and discover very quickly that, you want to sell $5 million homes, but there's only 2 or 3 that sold all year. There's really no point of even going after that marketplace. Yeah, it's great to sell that kind of dollar figure, but who cares? Even if you're the best agent, you get 100% of the listings, you're still only selling 3 properties, which is not great. So what we want to do is we want to look at your marketplace. So we're going to look at high turnover, and we're going to use Facebook to do that. Then we're going to learn best practices on how to create the ad. Then we're going to craft the perfect ad, select our ad target options, and then we're going to retarget it as well. Okay. So finding your marketplace. So Facebook's it's come a long way in 10 years or so that it's been around. When I first started using it was really just posting your personal photos and looking at your friends and family. That's pretty much about it. But fast forward to 2015, we now have the aspects of the people using it. They have so much research done on it. You can really hammer home on what people actually do behaviorally, who their social circles are, what their interests are, and really target your marketplace. So if you're really interested, you can find condo owners who love to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's how specific you can get in Facebook. That's how incredible Facebook is. Where it's hard, you can't do that on Craigslist or Kijiji or print or direct mail, anything like that. That's why Facebook's such a powerful tool. And if you're not using it, you're really leaving a lot off the table. So when you're also finding your marketplace, the biggest thing I think that most people fault when it comes to real estate sales, there will become a point in time where you start generating these leads and they're going to want to meet you. You're going to have to meet them in person. There's never been an agent in the history of real estate who just makes sales left, right, and center and doesn't do anything in terms of meeting people face to face. So a part of that is going to be finding what you have in terms of commonalities or building rapport with the people. So when it comes to Facebook, if you like Chevy Camaros and you want people who also own Chevy Camaros to build rapport, you will inevitably get more of a conversion because you have that in common. So for me, for example, I typically do behaviors of people who enjoy professional sports, CFL, football, hockey, basketball, you name it, because I used to play them all. So I have that rapport with people. I can talk about them. We can make conversation. At the end of the day, people will hire you not necessarily based on your knowledge, but just how much they like you. I've never met a seller who said, look, I've got nothing in common with you. I hate your guts, but because you got great marketing here, just take my listing. That's never going to happen. So it's important to see who you actually want to work with, okay, who you want to attract into your inner circle. You'd be surprised on how much information Facebook really has on everybody, yourself included. So when you're finding your marketplace, you have a lot of options. So here they have, you can customize the audience, of course, but then you have location, age, gender, language, interest, behaviors. So we talked about behaviors. And interest is where you'll build rapport. Now, that's only 6 broad categories, but when you actually get into Facebook and you look at each category and you go down into each browse cycle and you see how deep the lists actually are, you literally have hundreds of thousands of connections of information and data points, things that you can enter so you can narrow down your target audience. And what's the purpose of doing this? Well, when it comes to advertising, especially in real estate, the average realtor, for the best of my knowledge, does not have a multi-million-dollar advertising budget year in, year out. Most agents don't even come close to earning that, let alone spending it on advertising. So instead of being a little fish in a big pond and saying, I'm going to go after everybody who wants real estate in the world, okay, you don't have the kind of budget to advertise around the world. You don't have the kind of advertising you need to brand yourself. You don't have the money needed to, really have the phone ringing off the hook from people all over the world. So I'd rather you be a big fish in a small pond than a small fish in a big pond. And the reason for that is I'd rather you dominate one building or one street or one little neighborhood, and everybody knows about you and everybody sees your ads, and you have commonalities and rapport, and you build it that way. The reason being is it's just going to cost less money for you, and you're going to generate a better ROI, or your return on your investment dollars. So the worst thing you could do starting out is trying to go after all prospects. Your marketing dollars in real estate don't go very far, so you have to target your audience. The smaller the audience, the better. So as you go through Facebook, the more narrow you can get, the better it is. So if you go back to the previous slide, if you just click in Facebook and just put the only location as the US, the potential reach is 180 million people. That's it. So 180 million people, that's too large of a demographic. You will literally be having too many people just be clicking randomly on your ad, and you're going to be spending money left, right, and center without even knowing you're doing it. So you really want to narrow your market down to 10,000, 100,000 people. That way you'll have a bigger audience to attract, and you won't be spending too much money. So with this, if you're looking for squirrels, don't go to the forest. Yes, the forest does have squirrels, but if you went to the squirrel store, you'd find nothing but squirrels. The reason why I say that is because if you're on Facebook and you're looking for seller clients, don't just put an ad out to everybody who's on Facebook. Yes, there are some sellers on Facebook, but what you want to do is go to the people who are waving a flag saying, I'm interested in selling, I need to sell now. Okay, and we're going to go into how you do that. And it's not about you, it's about your customers. Stop advertising yourself, stop advertising your face, stop advertising the fact that you're number one. No one cares, okay? They want to go there and click on something that's going to give them information about themselves, how it's going to benefit them, how they're going to sell, how they're going to sell for more money, how are they going to find distressed properties, how are they going to get their tenants out, how are they going to become a landlord. They want to know this information. They couldn't care less that you're the best agent in the world, okay? And by the way, the only person who cares about that is yourself and your parents. So get that out of your mind, get that out of your daily practice, and start focusing on the clients, what the client wants. So when you're crafting the perfect ad, this is really the money maker, okay? So you want to be specific on this, but you need to be somewhat generic. And what I mean by that is you want to target sellers, but generically, you don't want to sell them one thing, okay? So what I mean by that is if you're looking at sellers in downtown Toronto condos, that's specific. But if you said, call me today because I could sell your condo on Bay Street, that's too specific. You need to be more generic. So you need to say things like, what's the value of your condominium in Toronto? That's specific but generic, okay? There's nothing else they're wanting to know other than the price of their home. It's very generic. It could go to anybody. It's a universal ad. Anybody who's interested in the price of their condo in Toronto will be interested in that ad. The more specific you get on the ad, the less and less people you're going to attract. So no one cares about your designations or awards. It has to be about what they are looking for. You can wow them with your status after you take their listing. You can tell them how great you are once they sign on the dotted line. You need a great picture. If you don't have a picture that draws their attention in, it's just going to go like everything else. It's just going to go by the wayside. No one's going to look at it. Yes, the tagline's ultimately the most important thing because that's the first thing they're going to see. But the picture's going to draw their attention. And it's going to get to a point where if you have something about yourself or a face or like you're number one, like that just turns people off. They've seen too much of it. So you need to have something that's going to draw them in, whether it's a cartoon character, whether it's a specific condominium, whether it's an internal shot of a condominium. It's got to be a good looking picture. So you need to have a tagline that draws them in as well. More people want to know about distressed properties than they care about your latest trophy that you won. So sadly, I see a lot of realtors advertising on Facebook and Kijiji and Craigslist and all this stuff. and they're bragging about that they're number one in their marketplace. Remax's top agent, Century 21's top agent, Coldwell Banker's top agent. Like, no one cares. They really don't care. What they want to know is how to find properties, how they make money. They want to know what's going to benefit to them. Okay, so the biggest question you could ever ask yourself, and this really stops most people in their tracks, is would you click on your own ad? So if you didn't know you had put it there, would you click on your own ad knowing that you were looking for something to sell your property, the price of your home, distressed sales, looking for cash, it goes on and on and on and on. So the question is, would you click on your own ad? If the answer is no, then nobody else is going to do it either. So when you're crafting the perfect ad, there's some specifics you need to know. So each category, as you go through your ad creation on Facebook, are going to give you specifics into the geography, into age, budget, behaviors, interests, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So each one of these lines, if you take this recording and just copy this sheet or put it, on the side of your computer, and then you could look at it side by side when you're building your ad. But basically, each time you go down through Facebook ad, this is what you do. You select your geographic area. You don't want a radius, so it'll sometimes give you a radius search. The problem with radius is it's literally a circle, so it will eliminate too many people. So you want Toronto and no radius around Toronto. So age range, you want to be very specific. Again, this goes back to specific and targeting. If you're selling to first-time homebuyers at a school, don't select 60 years old on the Facebook age range, okay? When it comes to real estate ownership or sellers, 25 is probably the absolute minimum. The amount of 18, 19, 20-year-old owners out there is few and far between, and they generally don't have a great grasp on working with realtors, and the whole thing is just going to be a big headache anyway. Their parents probably going to be involved, or an uncle or a guardian. So it's not a great tool or target. So 25 is generally pretty good, depending on who you're marketing to. They could be downsizing if they're elderly into condominiums. So I'd probably put it at 25 to 65. It's probably who I would target in Facebook. In terms of budget, so you have a daily run budget. I take no less than $5 per day as my run budget. Okay, I usually run that Monday through Friday. So it's $25 per week at the absolute maximum. Okay, anything less than that, you're not getting enough people clicking through. And anything more than that, you're probably overspending, because you're going to be having ad campaigns on Craigslist and Kijiji and print and direct mail and all sorts of stuff. So be wise with the budget. Optimize for clicks to websites. So Facebook's going to give you an option, so you can push it to a landing page. You're going to push like the page. There's like 8 or 9 different options. The key one you want to pick is optimize for clicks to your website, and then you're going to build a website, of course, or a landing page. So choose a great photo. Facebook actually supplies them. So if you pick your category, like in this instance, real estate, they'll load the pictures with real estate photos. So just pick one of those. If you have your own, there are parameters in terms of size, what you can put in there. So just pick one. Ideally, you're going to have multiple ones, so you can slide through the pictures quite easily. It says choose Facebook page. So you're going to have to pick a page that this is connected to. So when it comes to building in Facebook, if you don't have a business page, then you're going to have to make sure that this page connects with your personal page. There's pros and cons to that. I would say there's more cons than pros. So if you're going to go about doing this and you're currently a realtor, you don't have a business page designated specifically for real estate, I'd recommend you do so. At that point in time, you'll be able to choose that page that this ad is going to be designated to. So in the ad, your headline text is going to say, what is your home worth, or what is your condo worth, depending on who you're marketing to. So literally just copy this word for word, paste and click into the other website and upload it, say, what is your home worth? The text of your ad is going to say, what is your home or condo worth? Click to get the value of your home. When it comes to choose button on the ad, you're going to go back to learn more. We found that the other ones just don't pull as much as learn more, because people want to know what's going on. And then after that, you're basically done the ad. However, if you click on choose advanced options and you click on the news feed link, this allows you to write a little blurb below the ad. And what you need to do is say, click here to receive a 100% free comprehensive report about the value of your home. Or if you're selling condos, say of your condo. And then also in advanced options, you're going to say you can remove the right column and audience ads. Audience ads are basically people on your page only. Right columns are okay, but they sort of get sort of lost in the mix. But ideally, you're going to be having this ad on their main Facebook page, okay? Because you're gonna have interests in real estate, and it's going to automatically populate onto their page. So if I go back and I just take this in summary, so this is crafting the perfect ad. So you take all these notes of what we've been doing, and I go back to our ad, our test ad. So if you can see here at the very top, it says Young Realty Inc. So that's the page it's associated with. What is your condo worth? Click to get the value of your condo. So that's where that goes. And then what is your condo worth? You'll see how that is, it appears just below the ad. And then right below in the advanced options, you're going to say click here to receive a 100% free comprehensive report about value of your condo. Now we put the URL torontocondoprice.com, and if you go to torontocondoprice.com, you'll see that's just literally a landing page. Okay. So the landing page we're going to get into in a different day. Really, it's important to just craft the ad on Facebook. If you don't understand how to do a good ad in Facebook, everything else sort of just goes by the wayside anyway. So we're going to break it down each week, or we'll probably load more videos and training over the next week just to get it finalized for you quicker. But right now, it's important that you start learning how to build your Facebook ad. So when you're selecting your ad target options, okay, obviously, okay, we're giving the example just because we're in Toronto. Location is going to be Canada, Toronto, so you want to be geo-specific. Interests. So what we've done that we find to be the biggest pull so that we get more hits on people's pages are these interests. Now, you can play around with interests and you can add as many as you want or as few as you want, but these should all be in there as basically as a minimum. So we've chosen interior design, gardening, furniture, mortgage loans, creative real estate investing, DIY network, investment, construction, condominium, real estate investing, real estate, real property, architecture. So when it comes to Facebook users, if for whatever, anything on your page, if you've shown an interest in any of these categories, our ad will actually populate onto your page. So it's keeping in line with your interests. So it's key to spend some time in this and figuring out who your avatar is, who your target market is, who you're really trying to figure out who is going to look at these things. When it comes to age, like I said, 25, 27 to 65 for the condominium users. If you're getting into the high-end luxury market, there's not too many 25-year-olds looking for $5 million condos and homes. It just doesn't happen. Well, I guess I say doesn't. But anyways, one of my youngest clients ever bought a $2-point-something million condo. I can't remember what it was, 2.8 or something like that. He inherited money and he bought it. It was unbelievable. But that's rare, very rare. Ideally, if you're in the luxury market, you're going to be targeting people between like 40 to 60. You can even put in their net worth. That's how specific Facebook is. You can say, I'm targeting people between 40 and 60 with a net worth of $1 million or more. Okay. If you're going to be targeting that audience, your ad is going to reflect luxury real estate. It's not going to be some cheesy like first-time buyers ad. Okay. So when it comes to mobile placement, this is another option in your ad targeting. You're going to want to select third-party apps or news feed. And then when it comes to desktop, you're going to select news feed or right column. News feed is on your main page of Facebook where your ad shows up. So when it comes to retargeting, we're not going to get into this too specifically because this is really where we talk about landing pages. But basically, Facebook allows you to place a pixel on your landing page or website that will allow you for retargeting. What that means, if you've pushed the person from your Facebook ad and they've clicked through to go to your landing page, you can put a pixel on the landing page that will track who is going there from where, which is fantastic. So you can track about your return on your investment and where your marketing dollars are best used. It allows you to understand if you've really pinpointed down the marketing taglines and your audience, because if you're not getting clicks, then you're wrong on what you're doing. The other beautiful thing about the pixel is that it tracks the results. It will also allow the ad to show up on the person's Facebook account. So if they go onto your landing page, you can actually retarget to that person, whether they clicked or not clicked on that page, and retarget to them a different ad, knowing that they've either liked or not liked the page. It's really incredible stuff that we're going to get into on a different day when we talk about landing pages. But retargeting is the key if you really want to maximize this. But that's more of an advanced strategy. But for now, if you go steps 1 through 4, you're well ahead of the game. There's no question about it. So the process again, so 1, you have to figure out your marketplace, who you're advertising to, okay? You want to create the Facebook ad, and then you want to push them to a landing page. That landing page must be in line with the ad, same messaging. For example, you don't want to send somebody looking for a home evaluation to a landing page that talks about, 7 mistakes landlords make. It just wouldn't add up, okay? So you want to make sure the messaging is the same there. Landing page must be connected with the CRM. I say must because it's so difficult and overwhelming as you get to build more and more lead generation accounts. When you really add on top of the Facebook and you have even Twitter and your blog and your Kijiji and your Craigslist and your landing page and your direct mail and everything all coming together all at once, you will be bombarded with too many leads every single day. So it's important to have something that's generating a CRM, a follow-up system that's automated, so you don't even have to be involved with it. And then you want to follow up quickly and set appointments. Setting appointments is the key to this whole equation. If you're not in front of people on a day-to-day basis, then there's no point of even doing this at all. So ultimately, that's how simple it is. The key to today's training is just getting your Facebook ad operational and getting it up and running. Everything else we'll talk about later, but if you don't get to this step, everything else is sort of not done for any reason. So again, we'll go back to the ad just so you see an example of it. So here's the ad. So just go and use this as your copy, and then just take it and recreate it on your Facebook, and then we'll go from there on teaching you how to build it and push it to landing pages on a different day. So that's all for us today at The Realtor Coach. We will talk to you soon.